And then do you like The Green Mile, the other Stephen King adaptation directed by Frank Darabont?
I do. Yeah. Okay, so this is my controversial opinion. And I get a lot of heat over it. I'm not a huge Tom Hanks fan.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Talk me through this. Not a big Tom Hanks fan.
no, and
So the
I
90s were not a fun time for you at the movies.
no. Anything past Joe versus the volcano and I'm out. Like
So you like
so,
his 80s films, like his more comedic films of the 80s?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Forrest Gump is one of the only movies that I wanted to walk out of and ask for my money back. Like,
So you were an hour into Forrest Gump and you said, "How do I get out of this theater? How do I get my money back?
mhm.
I am in misery right now."
Yes. And how do I convince my three friends that I'm with to go with me when one of them drove us? So yeah, it didn't. I watched the whole movie, but
Interesting. I'm so happy I brought this up because I have never heard of anybody who doesn't like Tom Hanks. That's
I
interesting.
know.
What is it about him as a performer that bothers you?
I can't even pinpoint it. That's the problem. Like there's something about him that I just don't enjoy. Although I know someone who has a fantastic, heartwarming story about Tom Hanks and what he's done for
Mhm.
somebody that she actually knows, like who was a terminally ill child.
Okay.
And it's a heartwarming story, and it really makes me feel bad about not liking him as an actor. But
So, I mean, just some of his landmark films. Do you like A League of Their Own?
yes.
Okay, you like that one because
Oh, so that came out after. That came out.
that's 92. So
That's true.
Joe versus the Volcano was a strange part of his career. He had 4 flops in a row in like 2 years, right? So he was in The Burbs, he was in Turner and Hooch, he was in Joe versus the Volcano, and The Bonfire of the Vanities, all in a
Right.
2 year period. All were flops. His career was not doing so well, and he came to the decision: I want to play more adult roles. I want to do some dramas. Let's step it up. And he was like demanding of his agents and everybody, like, let's find some better projects. And the first one he started with was A League of Their Own. That came out in summer of 92. I love A League of Their Own, and
Oh,
he is hilarious in that movie. You can't
there's
deny
no
it.
crying in baseball.
Yeah. And then after that, that's where we get into the period of his bad films for you, like Forrest Gump and Philadelphia and Saving
hmm
Private Ryan, those stinkers.
Yep. Yeah. Which actually I saw all of them at the theater. Like
So even Saving Private Ryan, where he's not like the star, he's kind of like a part of an ensemble, he was still like annoying to you in that.
hmm Yep. Yep.
So you must not.
I liked the rest of the movie.
So at the opening scene, you're like, kill him, kill Tom.
Yes.
He can go. So you must
Like,
not have either seen or like Castaway, because that's all him for 2.5 hours.
I have seen Castaway.
Yeah. So how
Um,
did you get through Castaway?
I may have had wine when I saw Castaway.
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna really milk this, Sherry, as long as I can. Yeah, I mean, I would not, if I had to list my 10 favorite actors of all time, I don't know if Tom Hanks would be in the top 10. I don't really think of him as one of my favorite actors, but yeah, I'll go see his newest film. I'll
hmm
usually, the thing with Tom Hanks is usually he's a mark of a good quality movie. Usually, he
hmm
doesn't really sign up for like terrible stinkers unless he's in like, Inferno.
Oh,
There's been a few. The Circle was, you
yeah.
know. But yeah, I mean, I've admired some of his recent films, like Sully by Clint Eastwood, and The Post by Spielberg, and then A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, where you just like,
Oh,
I
I
am
do
not.
really want to see that.
So yeah, he plays Fred Rogers in that, and he's got some interesting projects. I have not seen his new film News of the World, directed by Paul Greengrass, but I've heard
hmm
good things about that. So yeah, I mean, he's just one of those actors. I feel like he usually attaches himself to quality projects, and so whenever that's you know once you get used to an actor giving us good films after many decades, so usually I'll go with him. But interesting perspective.
I'm willing to give him another chance also because I really enjoy Colin Hanks. And so I
Okay,
feel
so
like,
you like Colin Hanks but not Tom Hanks.
but not Tom Hanks.
So if Colin Hanks had been in all of the big Tom Hanks movies of the 90s, you would have been more on board.
Some of them I still wouldn't have enjoyed. I think.
If Colin Hanks had been in Apollo 13, you would have had a better time.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Is that a film you don't like either, Apollo 13?
No, I do like that movie.
Okay.
So he doesn't necessarily ruin a movie for me. I just like don't enjoy him.
He's on the screen. You're hearing him say, "Houston, we have a problem," and you're kind of squinting and doing like,
yeah.
Could have read that line better, Tom.
I take notes on how he could have delivered a better performance.
So you're watching the 1995 Oscar ceremony where he won his second Oscar for Best Actor back to back after Philadelphia. Are you throwing things when this happened?
Yes. Yeah. I think the only other time that I experienced that was when Cuba Gooding Jr. won over Edward Norton.
Oh, oh my gosh. Yeah, Edward Norton just phenomenal in Primal Fear, and Cuba Gooding Jr. gives a fun performance in Jerry Maguire, but that was odd. Yeah,
that was an odd choice. Yes,
you're like, so you would have wanted Morgan Freeman to win Best Actor that year for Shawshank Redemption over Tom Hanks. But
absolutely.
So 10 minutes later, however long it's been, that brings us back to The Green Mile, which I really enjoy. I admire. It's not at the same level of Shawshank.
No.
But at 3 hours, I think it moves pretty fast. Like, I don't feel the length of it. I think Michael Clarke Duncan is amazing in it. And I kind of like that it's, has more of a supernatural element to it than we get in like the Shawshank Redemption. It's kind of, you go a little bit more into like a genre realm in The Green Mile, but not so far that it becomes a genre movie. And I just think, I hate to say it to you, but I think Tom Hanks really holds that film together.
He's the glue.
He's the glue. I mean, how many other big A-list actors would, allow themselves to, the opening image of a movie is him trying to pee into a toilet and going, and just sweat just dripping down his face, just trying to get a little bit more of that pee out. I feel like a lot of A-list actors would have been like, cut that out, Frank.
That's true.